So I talked a little bit about that Teresa Burbank's office, and I believe it was in July of 2024. The Gilbert, Judge Gilbert ordered under temporary orders the ability for mom to change schools. Okay,
Which is not supposed to be allowed.
correct. So we filed a mandamus on that. But in the interim, in between him allowing under temporary orders mom the right to change schools, her reasoning, her excuse and reasoning behind wanting to change schools is she was trying to convince, or again, we know there's conspiracy here, but her claim to fame was Carl's creating issues at the school, and so we want the kids to have a new fresh start at a new school, which in reality it was 2 minutes down the road from her new home that she was renting from, right? So the kids during our MSA in 2023 were zoned to me, and mom lost primary custody, right? So I'm giving you a little bit of backstory. So mom gave up primary custody and gave up child support, and it was due to the abuse video,
She didn't want
the
that going
facts,
to the court.
the reports from Dr. James Zettel, the CPS allegations and files from Teresa Burbank. So we did what's called a mediated settlement agreement, okay, which that was signed by the judge in May of 23.
Okay. I'm
So,
connecting some dots.
Yeah, so you might want to get that on there. So she gave up primary custody. I'll never forget that day of our final mediation that led to the MSA. I mean, it was Dr. James Zettel, it was my attorney Nick Dillard, her attorney at the time, Erica Jackson, and the mediator and Teresa Burbank were all on this Zoom call, and they said, look, if this goes to trial, mama's going to lose custody. Dad is going to get custody more than likely. She's going to be paying dad child support. And the same as before, where I could say that I would never do the things that mom's done to me, I wouldn't do to her. We offered her equal parenting time at 223 and just no child support. Not because I didn't want to pay the money, it was because we were going to have them equally. Mom makes $100,000 a year. We're okay. And she agreed to those things to avoid going to trial and potentially losing that trial. Looking back, hindsight 2020, I made a mistake. I should have went to trial because it would have put me in a position to not have to be in and out of the court system, because I would have chose not to do that. I wouldn't have never taken the kids. I would have asked that the court help facilitate some help for mom with her paranoia and some of the things she's done, and maybe the anger, because I feel like looking back on our marriage, all of that kind of fit into the like puzzle pieces. And then you fast forward to the temporary orders where Judge Gilbert allowed her to change schools. That session after that temporary orders meeting was a session with me, Teresa, mom, and both kids, and that's when mom was voicing in front of everyone that the kids were excited about changing schools, and both kids, no way. And my son jumped up 2 different times, and that second time, I used some choice words. I said, he's right, you are an effing liar. And the judge took my kids, took my rights away. Immediately, ordered me supervised visitation, temporary, through
at ABC.
Access Builds Children. I think I had 13 to 15 visits altogether, and every one of my reports are glowing, but a few of them have some pretty significant, what I would say, very concerning things that the kids reported, which are documented by the monitors at ABC. I think verbatim, one of them was, mom says that, you're choosing to see us here, and you could see us anytime you want to see us, but you don't want to see us. My son and my daughter both, and again, it's documented that mom says you don't love us anymore, and you love Amanda and her girls more. I think one of the reports states that, you know, the things that we made. So during our 4-hour supervised visitation at ABC, you're supposed to bring food to provide lunch, and then activities, things to do with the kids, and so we do all different kinds of things. We try to make the best of it. I mean, it's tough, right? You're in a 12 by 14
yes,
room
they do get bored.
for 4 hours
Easily.
with one kid that's got ADHD, a dad that's got ADHD, and it's not easy, but you know, you make the best of it. But the one thing I could say, the positive, the good thing that came out of that ABC is, you know, we don't have devices, right? It's quality one-on-one time. You're doing, you know, what I would consider structured things with kids, like doing crafts and Play-Doh and Lego and crossword puzzles and playing games. So it's intimate, it's one-on-one, and as those you know, visits progressed, the kids really opened up, because you know, we're all kind of closed off. I don't want to be there. I mean, I'm, no offense, but you know, I'm there with drug dealers and drug addicted people and you know, abusers and kids that have been sexually abused, and
Right.
you know, it's and we don't have none of those things in my case, and you know, it's tough. You know, there's mold on the floor, and there's roaches everywhere, and it smells, and
Yeah.
you know, it's not a good place to be. And but I will say that we were blessed with one of the monitors. His name was
He
Chris.
was fantastic.
Very
thorough. He was great.
He knew what was going on.
Well, and was it Lily that said about the crafts when they took?
Yeah,
when they
like
took,
that. Lily reported that when they got home, Mom would throw them away.
the stuff we would make. With
Yeah,
them.
and we had issues with that from Mom in the past, like things that my mom or my sister would buy the kids.
She would sell them.
Sell them and throw them away.
Yeah.
Just very immature things. But you know, the monitor at the end, one of my last visits there, Chris, after the kids left, and you know, he had tears in his eyes, and he said, "You're phenomenal, Dad. You don't deserve to be here." And believe it or not, Carl, there's more people here on your side than you think. Yeah.
Especially when you feel like everybody is against you.
That's right. And one of the, I tell you, silver linings in this is, throughout this is you know, Teresa Burbank, she doesn't understand, right? And she's always been neutral and unfortunately very unpredictable when it comes to her testimony, because she'll say one thing, but then, and say she's going to take a hard line or hard stance on something, but then kind of gets real soft.
In Switzerland.
Yes,
Yeah.
and here recently, a blessing in disguise is she ran into Chris, the monitor, in her office,
Wow.
and Chris was very adamant and outspoken, and told her directly that the things that Carl is accused of and was terminated for never happened, and she put that in writing to all parties in this case.
Okay,
Just a
yeah,
few
you're
weeks
right.
ago.
This is a huge part of it.
Mhm.
I have more questions then.
Okay.
Okay.